Good morning, good morning. Is the is the cam working today? Okay, nice. The cam is working. Yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in to this video. Today's probably the only day I could actually do a live stream because my airport job actually requires me to be there Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday morning at 4 a.m. So I'm not going to be back home to stream. So I do everything in my power to make this live stream as insightful, as informational as I can. But yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Coming into today on NQ, based on this daily closure yesterday, I can anticipate for this daily candle's high to be taken, right? This high right here, I'll make that a green line. I do want to see us take out that liquidity. I do want to see us take out that previous day high, simply just based on how we closed here on the daily time frame yesterday. And let's go back to, or actually let's start off with the Forex Factory just so I can see what we're working with here. So today, Tuesday, January 7th, we have ISM services PMI numbers being released at 10 and JOLTS job openings. So we do have two red folder news here right at 10 a.m. Eastern time. So that is very, very interesting. But coming into this week, I didn't really have a weekly bias. I did, however, have a daily bias coming into on Monday. So Monday's price action was right here. And pay attention to how this candle closes, right? This up close candle. This up close candle right here, I can anticipate for that daily candle. I can anticipate for the next daily candle to take out Friday's high of day. So Monday's objective was for us to take out Friday's high of day, which is that green line. And one thing I do want to draw your attention to here is, so notice how Monday's candle, right, is suggesting higher prices because Friday's closure was bullish. And another thing that I was targeting here was, so from this swing low to this swing high, there is a dealing range, right? And every single dealing range, there's the premium and discount level, or the equilibrium level, right? The equilibrium level was also another level that I was watching coming into Monday's price action because, like I said before, Monday's closure should be up closed because of the way we closed here on Friday. So after we took out previous day high or Friday's high of day, I did want to see if Monday's price action could, push higher, attacking the premium level of that dealing range before. Like I said, that daily dealing range. And we ended up completing that objective. No model was given here. And yeah, I simply just had to wait and just sit on the sidelines. But this was something that I did. Okay, I don't know why my webcam just broke again. But that was something that I wanted to draw your attention to coming into the weekly market analysis. Right here. So my daily bias coming into Monday is previous day high. If we do take out previous day high, I will watch for a retracement back into the premium of the dealing range. So premium of the dealing range is that 0.5 level, right? Is that equilibrium level. So anything above that equilibrium is essentially premium, and I'll make premium a reddish color. And anything below premium, or anything below the equilibrium per se, is discount. So anything in that green box is discount. So buyers would most likely want to buy in discount, and sellers would most likely want to sell in premium. So So that's just a concept, right? And that goes past like trading. Anybody, if you're a seller, you want to be selling at higher prices, and if you're a buyer, like think about it, if you go to a store, right, you always want to be looking for the discounted items. You want to be looking for items that are at discount, that are cheaper than its normal price. And that's the idea here, right? If we know that prices likes to trade into premium or discount to get better, I guess, buys or sells, if we can align ourselves with that concept, then there's going to be more trade opportunities that present itself. But right now, coming into today's price action, like I said before, I do want to see us take out previous day high. And one thing that I am watching is if we get a immediate rebalance, right? If we don't trade back into this blue line right here, I'll make this a little bit darker or thicker so you guys can see it. But if we don't trade back inside that blue line, that would mean that we created a daily fair value gap, a daily BISI, right? But that's just something that I am watching for. I mean, we could end up just rebalancing or just immediately rebalancing that fair value gap. So I'm anticipating for a fair value gap to be created. But like I said before, today's objective would be for us to take out previous day high. It's just now I'm just waiting for a model, right? So my order flow, my higher time frame order flow here is for us to attack previous day high. So that's the higher time frame order flow, the higher time frame narrative. So now going from the daily, I would go on to maybe the 4 hour, the 6 hour, the 8 hour, the 10 hour, maybe even the 12-hour time frame to find some sort of alignment between the time frames, right? So now I'm just gonna wait for, you know, a bullish closure here on the 4 hour or the 6 hour or the 8 hour to align myself with the daily time frame. And what those, I guess, those lower time frames relative to the daily is telling me is that, hey, we should complete the daily's objective within the next 4 hours. So if we closed here, if we had a bullish closure here on this 4 hour candle, on this 4 hour candle that closes at 10 a.m. Eastern time, then that would tell me that, hey, we should complete this daily objective within the next 4 hours in the time span of 10 a.m. till 2 p.m. around there. And another way you can try to like understand when prices would complete its objective is the economic calendar, right? So we didn't have any red folder news here at, you know, post 10 a.m. We do, however, have red folder news at 10 a.m. So we could end up taking out the daily objective at that certain time in the day, right? That is also something that you should implement within your strategies, understanding time and understanding when volatility will be injected, right? And like I said before, the economic calendar will tell you when volatility is injected. But yeah, as of right now, I'm not gonna force anything as of yet. I don't trade the first 30 minutes of the morning opening. I kind of wait and see how we close here on the 4 hour candle and the 8 hour candle first before anything. But yeah. But that basically wraps it up for the daily objective. Previous day high, like I said, is the OBJ. And yeah, let's get into some of the positives and negatives here for next week. So yeah, ES and Q, they both took out its daily objective here on Monday. ES, like I said, I wanted to see ES take out this swing high, which is that green line. That swing high is Friday's high of day, which I anticipated for Monday to take out. And now coming into Tuesday's price action, I would have liked to see previous day high to be taken, but I believe ES is weaker than NQ as of the moment. And we also have this SMT here between ES and NQ. So NQ took out previous month's low. However, on ES, we did not take out previous month's low, which is a rather large SMT. Something that you do want to pay attention to as well. So if this becomes the strong swing low, we should end up taking out previous month's low or all-time highs here. But we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, going into the positives and negatives here. So last week, I didn't take a single trade. I wasn't presented with a trade model, so I mean, you have to practice patience there. You can't really force anything that isn't present, right? No model met the requirements that I look for, so I did not force anything. And that's a good quality to have, is to be able to, execute your model when it presents itself. And if it doesn't present itself, you should be able to have that discipline to not force anything, because human psychology, I wouldn't say we're programmed, because I feel like it's an idea that got introduced in today's age, where you're trying to chase that next shiny object, right? That you're trying to force greatness to appear overnight. And like here, I don't want to force a trade if it doesn't present itself, right? So that's a positive that I was able to practice. Second thing, reviewing the trade journal every single day. Even though, like I said, I didn't take a single trade last week, this is something that I can control. And I'm able to control how much I review, how much I, constantly absorb new knowledge. So this is something that I can control. And I established an understanding of, I have that understanding. It's just I can explain it to you guys better, which makes my understanding grow. If I'm able to explain and teach the way I view things, then that just reestablishes the idea that I do understand what I'm talking about. And I'll go into this a little bit in more detail, but establishing an understanding of higher time frame order flow, lower time frame model, and entry pattern. And higher time frame and lower time frame, they're kind of subjective, because a higher time frame could be the 30-minute, but it depends on like the whole story. So I'll go more into detail with that. And third thing here is I checked for misalignment between the indices before any trade opportunity, to make sure I'm trading in favorable conditions. So this just means that if NQ, right, if let's just say NQ is suggesting higher prices, and ES is somewhere like here, right? This is NQ, so I'll make this a green line, or a green box, and I'll make this a red box. So the green box is NQ, the red box is ES. ES, bearish, NQ, bullish. You don't want to be in these conditions, right? The indices should be trading in tandem with one another, which means that they should be trading in the same direction. If this occurs here between the indices where they're not trading in alignment with each other, you should just sit on the sidelines. There's no reason for you to force a strategy or force a model whenever conditions aren't favorable. And this is just something that, you know, ICT preaches. And if you're willing to follow that rule, then props to you. But yeah, I'm not going to force a model or take a model when conditions aren't favorable. And some of the negatives here is just, you know, maintaining complete maintaining complete focus, right? Give the current task in front of me my entire being. So this just goes back to, like, this applies to everything. I feel like, not even like, I know, if you can't focus on what is in front of you, and you keep, I guess it's not multitasking, but I can't explain this that well, and that just means that my understanding isn't as great. But yeah, everything that you're doing, right? Let's say right now, as I'm live streaming to you guys, going over the concepts and the ideas that I have with you guys, I shouldn't be doing anything else but that. And aligning my thoughts and actions with the goals and values that I have for myself. So I have a question. Yeah. This question is something that I always ask myself, is the thought that I'm having at this very moment, or is this action that I'm doing at this very moment in alignment with what I have for my goal, or what goals I've set for myself, and what values that I believe in, right? If the thought or action doesn't align with that, then I should just disregard that. I should just throw it away and move on with the thought or action, right? And second negative here is just taking every single model and opportunity that presents itself. That is a goal of mine. That's something that I can control, right? I can't control the result of the model or the trade, but I can control me actually like, you know, hey, every single requirement got met. I should take this, and that's just something that I'm going to have to practice. Yeah, so notice how this goal doesn't require external validation. And so this point right here is something that I just got, well, it's not something that I feel like I got introduced to just recently, but it got brought back from, like, it's now more emphasized. And the idea is, so if, let's just say, for an example, you're a YouTuber, you're a social media influencer, right? And there's two, so let's compare. There's one influencer that has set his goals to have 1,000 or 10,000 subscribers, right? And there's another influencer where he set his goal to be uploading 3 videos a week, 5 videos a week. The two goals are a little bit different, right? One requires external validation, external man, I just blanked. Essentially, if you require anything that comes from the outside for your goal to be accomplished, then you're never going to find peace, right? But let's say the other guy the other comparison is that if you're able to, that's something that you control. If you're able to upload 5 videos a week, that you set, that's a goal that you set for yourself, right? That's something that's within your goal or control, and those are the goals that you should set for yourself. It's not that you shouldn't have goals that are like 1,000 subscribers or I feel like there's more external, like, I can't think of an example, but that's the, like, first one that comes to mind. but yeah, set goals that are within your control. But it's not bad to have any, you know, it's not bad to have those types of goals, but remember to not set every single one of your goals to be an external goal. Set more internal goals than external goals. And setting internal goals allows you to, you know, find peace from within, right? You don't require any external or outside opinions or outside validation for you to feel happy, for you to feel accomplished. Yeah. So going into the improvements here, for me, just taking consistent models. Every single trade that I do take, I must be able to explain what the higher time frame order flow is. And a quick summary of what the higher time frame order flow is this question right here. Why else should prices be continuing higher or lower after completing the lower time frame model? And I'll go, like I said, I'll go more into depth with that question or with that concept a little bit later, right after this. Identify a model and displacement. So those are the three things that I am looking for whenever I do take a trade. And yeah, review higher time frame objectives list. I'll do that right after this. So there's the expansion model, there's the EQ model, and there's a rebalance model. Rebalance model, it kind of, or it goes over basically if your value gap should be rebalanced or not, and if it should be, then you can kind of, then you'll be able to take the, well, we'll see, you'll see. It's better for me to show you with the actual examples than just talking through it about the words. Being more aggressive, focusing my energy on thoughts and actions that are in alignment with my goals and values. So like I said before, this question should be asked every time you do something. Is this action or thought at this current moment in alignment with my values and goals? And establishing internal goals, goals that don't require external validation, to be fulfilled. Alright, going back to the charts for just a little bit here. We are about to close here on the 4-hour candle and the 8-hour candle in about 3 minutes or so. So depending on how we close here on that 4-hour candle and that 8-hour candle will tell me if we will complete the morning or complete the daily objective within the next 4 hours during the morning. But right now, just the way we're closing here on the 4-hour candle and the 8-hour candle doesn't suggest to me that we'll probably complete that daily objective right now. But we'll see. I mean, anything could happen. We could just end up just boom with the news that are getting released here in about 2 minutes. But while we wait for that, and while there's probably not going to be a model for me to target previous day high if we do end up taking out previous day high with the news here, so I'm not even going to bother looking at this. However, oh wait, actually we could see, I'm sorry, let me see if there's a short model that might present itself. Let's see, 5 minute, 3 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minute. Very interesting. All right. That was a market structure shift right there. Let me see where ES is at. Alright. Very, very interesting. Let me actually get logged into my account here first before I miss anything. So let's log in. whoops, I didn't even log into it yet. All right, there we go. And this is a 2-minute fair value gap right here. Depending on how we close here on this 2-minute fair value gap will tell me if we're most likely going to rebalance it or not. So I'll set up a model here. Okay, well, I was gonna take that short, but oh, actually I couldn't have taken that short because of the way we close here on this 2-minute candle. But the idea for that just now was, okay, so based on, let's go on the 5-minute time frame so you guys can see a little bit clearer. But notice how this 30-minute candle closed, right? This 30-minute candle closure is bearish. We can anticipate, I'll make that red line. We can anticipate for that red line to be taken, right? That red line is the 30-minute low. But notice how the 15-minute low, the 15-minute candle is also suggesting lower prices, but I'll make this a orange line. But notice how the orange line and the red line do not intersect each other. They're parallel. That means that after we take out the 15-minute low, we should continue lower to attack the 30-minute low. So this would have been known as an expansion model, which is why I was trying to find a short there, but there was no entry pattern. So, you know, my objectives have already been met, so there's no need for me to force anything anymore. But going into the actual charts here now, it appears that we could end up getting that daily immediate rebalance here. And notice how this 4-hour candle, this bearish 4-hour candle's objective got completed here. So that 4-hour candle's low got taken, and now it looks like we're rebalancing a 4-hour fair value gap. And this 4-hour fair value gap here should hold if we're going to take out previous day high, if we're going to complete the daily objective. But we'll see. We're also, I'm pretty sure we're also rebalancing a 8-hour. Yep. We're also rebalancing this 8-hour fair value gap here and this 6-hour fair value gap. But let's go into the higher time frame objectives, because we already completed essentially the morning objective for me as of right now. The next time I'll be given I guess an intraday objective would be how this 6-hour candle closes. Alright, so higher time frame objectives, right? So this is the whole idea of higher time frame order flow and why prices should continue higher or lower after completing the lower time frame model. So I gave you guys a little bit of a sneak peek of what that is with that example there I just showed you guys just now. But essentially, higher time frame objectives require multiple time frames, right? So this approach uses higher time frames, right? And like I said, higher time frame is subjective. You could take a daily model, your higher time frame, or I guess you can align a 4-hour model with the daily higher time frame order flow. But that doesn't mean that the daily time frame can only be the time frame that is considered the higher time frame. A question that, or not a question, but a quote that ICT states is, view a 4-hour candle as a daily candle and your perspective on the markets will broaden or change, right? So this concept just basically means that every single candle has an objective, right? That means any candle could be viewed as a higher time frame candle as long as you can go onto lower time frames relative to that time frame that you set for yourself, right? So my daily objective, my daily higher time frame order flow is higher prices, but I have to find a model lower in the lower time frames relative to that daily time frame. So daily, so from going to the daily, I would have to go onto maybe the 4 hour, the 6 hour, the 8 hour time frame. And the lower time frames are essentially used to find precise entry patterns, right? They allow you to find entry patterns and exits. So it kind of narrows it down to like, we should complete the objective right now is what the lower time frame is telling me. And it also allows you to manage risk properly. So if you're taking a daily model, or if you're trying to align yourself with the daily order flow and you take a model on, if you just stay on the same daily time frame as well, your risk is larger compared to if you were to go onto the lower time frames. You could really try to tune into the markets and just find a entry pattern that allows good risk management. So like I said, higher time frame objectives require multiple time frames, right? And what are higher time frame objectives? So higher time frame objectives are reasons why prices should be continuing in that certain direction on the macro scale of things, on the bigger picture. So like I said before, on the higher time frame, why should prices be continuing higher? And this idea, macro scale of things, the bigger picture, the certain direction, that can just be referred to as order flow or narrative. What's the story? What's the why should prices be going in that certain direction is essentially what order flow is in narrative. So it's interchangeable. Those words basically mean the same thing. And this is the 3 reasons why here. So this is important. You guys, I would recommend writing this down. Is we move up and down to rebalance inefficiencies, to target higher time frame liquidity, and to retrace into higher time frame equilibrium. So equilibrium, like I said before, is essentially you get it from a dealing range. So from this swing high to this swing low, there's equilibrium. Anything above equilibrium is premium. Anything below equilibrium is discount. So prices, like I said, buyers are always going to want to be buyers in discount. Sellers are always going to want to sell in premium. So that's a reason why prices move. To target liquidity, right? Liquidity is, there are people up here at this swing high that have sold. Your prices are going to most likely want to target that, seek that liquidity, seek out those sell orders up there. So that's another reason why prices move. And rebalancing a inefficiency. So there are going to be times where prices moves really impulsively, right? Really quick. And to offset that quickness or that impulsive move, prices are going to most likely want to rebalance that inefficiency, that gap that was created due to the impulsiveness of the move. And like right here, this is a rather large gap, and we do end up rebalancing that gap. All right, and here's like an idea of a model right here. So weekly retracement model, right? Going from the weekly time frame, you can go onto the daily model, and from the daily model, you're going to find some sort of lower time frames relative to the daily time frame to find an entry pattern. So weekly, daily, 4 hour. That makes sense. Here, the incorrect version of that could be you're using the daily time frame as a higher time frame order flow. So I mean, this is good so far. So daily rebalance order flow. Okay, that's cool. But your lower time frame model is the 15-minute model. you went from daily to 15-minute. There's no correlation. Or I guess there is correlation, but it's not meaningful between the daily and the 15-minute because there's too much of a time frame gap between those two time frames. But if you were to, go from a daily rebalance order flow to maybe a 4-hour model to maybe a 1-hour entry pattern or something like that, that would make sense. So notice how I can use a weekly time frame as my higher time frame order flow. I could use a daily model as my higher time frame order flow. I could use a 4-hour time frame as my higher time frame order flow. So going into more depth, rebalance model is essentially when prices moves back to fill inefficiencies or gaps left by impulsive moves. If we know that prices tends to rebalance these gaps, we can short or long into those gaps. And expansion model, prices moves aggressively towards liquidity pools, expanding in that certain direction of the trend. So these are going to be the moves that are rather larger in range. Expansion models. And retracement model is, like I said before, the whole idea that prices that buyers like to buy in discount and sellers like to sell in premium. You can kind of reverse psychology that because you know that prices likes to do that, you can try to align yourself with that whole concept. So because you know that prices likes to retrace into equilibrium before possibly resuming in the main trend direction, you can actually short into discount to possibly go long. You can long into premium to possibly go short. That sounded weird coming out my mouth, but that's exactly what it is. Yeah, those are the higher time frame objectives. So it appears that we just had a immediate rebalance here on NQ. Let's take a look what happened here on ES. So ES, let me see if ES rebalance. Yep, we had a daily immediate rebalance here on ES as well. So if we fail to respect this 4-hour fair value gap, I would disregard this swing high as my objective. But yeah, let's just continue to, well, actually I'm probably gonna be done for today. I already went over the positives and negatives, and I went over the higher time frame objectives here with you guys. Last thing is choosing a daily quote. Daily Vagabond quote. So let's see what ChatGPT gives me. Alright, so the daily quote for today is, perception is neither man nor woman. Perception has no form. The sword does not discriminate. So this quote conveys the idea that perception, like truth, transcends human constructs and biases. It highlights how mastery, whether in swordsmanship or life, requires a mind free from distinctions. The sword, a metaphor for one's skill or discipline, acts with impartiality. It does not judge, only acts. Similarly, when you act with clarity of perception, you operate in alignment with reality, unclouded by bias or ego. The lesson here is to develop a mind that observes without attachment or preconceived notions. Just as the sword doesn't care who wields it, life's challenges and moments arrive without biases. So it's up to you to respond with equanimity. Wow, I've never heard this word before. What's equanimity? Equanimity is a state of mental stability and balance where someone is calm and composed, especially in difficult situations. And I can relate to that. As a server, you're you're always going, if it's busy, it's gonna get rather chaotic. You know, there's going to be an imbalance between control and chaos. And those are the times where I feel like being calm and collected really matters, right? You can be calm and collected when the situation or the environment around you is, you know, rather still. But you know, when it gets a little bit busy, when things feel like, you know, you're feeling almost rushed to complete your task and stuff, you're not going to be completely present in the moment. You're right. You're worrying too much about almost the future outcome. And I just read about this literally last night, where stress or anything that is what's it synonym for stress, like discomfort, that's just a perception, and perception is neither man or woman. So it kind of goes back to this quote here. So there's this line here in the book I'm reading. It says, stress is not contained in external events. There is no such thing as inherently stressful situation. There are only stressful responses. You can choose to respond in a stressful way, or you can choose to respond in a non-stressful way. So the choice is yours, right? Whether to perceive the situation as stressful or an opportunity to accomplish a task. It is not what happens to you, but how you think about what happens to you that causes your response. And a note I said is, stress is a response. It is not from external events. You decide how you perceive your environment. And that's interesting, because I literally just read about that. But yeah, that is the quote of the day, and that is something that I am going into work today, so let's practice that. And something that I've been doing more is, you know, as I go into work, I don't view it as work. I see it as an opportunity to talk to people, and that's something that I can control, right? You know, learning and talking to other people about their experiences and stuff like that. It's really cool to really, you know, socialize with and, you know, encountering different ideas that you may not have been introduced to, which is fascinating. And because I'm asking those questions, and because I'm so involved in I guess learning about them, the side effect is that my service gets a lot better. And it's a skill that I go into it with the idea that I'm going to improve on my socializing skills, right? So I don't perceive it as work. I kind of perceive it as an opportunity to learn new experiences, but at the same time make some money. And yeah. Oh, I just forgot. I needed to add everybody here. Perception is off. Yeah. And that's gonna wrap it up for today. Thank you guys so much for joining and tuning into today's live stream. If you guys do want to join the Discord, it's going to be in the bio, I believe. And if not, then you can always use this quote here, or this link here. New link. So, alright, this is going to be a link. What the heck? Hidden, use copy button. know why it's... Oh, well, you guys are gonna have to just find that through my YouTube then.